Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast. From the Sugar Shack Studios in Houston, Texas, USA, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Ford Mustang 60 years. We're going to talk to the author. Jeff has the cruise in and events calendars, and I'll bring you stories making automotive news this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. Chief Engineer David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us today. We truly appreciate it.
We do.
And joining us right now, as a matter of fact, without further ado, as they say, Donald Farr, author of Ford Mustang 60 Years, 60 Stories and Milestones. Donald, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today. So this book has been christened by the Ford Motor Company, apparently.
Yes, they license it, which means they endorse it, which means they read it. So
that's a good thing.
Everything should be up to par.
Well, that's always a good thing. We don't want to get involved in any kind of lawsuits or anything like that.
Not this week.
Tell me about the motivation to write a book like this.
Well, I've written several books for motor books, starting with the launch of the 2012 Boss 302 Mustang, and that got me in the door at Motor Books. And then 10 years ago, they asked me to write Mustang 50 Years, which was more of a history book, the Mustang from 1964 right on up to 2017 at the time. And so they came back to me and said, would you like to write a Mustang 60th anniversary book? And at first I was a little reluctant because I didn't want to rewrite the 50-year book. But then I thought about the stories that I've been involved with. I've been writing about Mustangs for a living since 1980, starting with Mustang Monthly magazine. And I've been involved or seen a lot of these stories that have happened over the years. And so I suggested 60 stories for 60 years to tell the Mustang story through 60 stories that have occurred.
Well, I would imagine that you must be a Mustang owner as well.
I have been since my first Mustang in 1970.
Wow. What do you currently have in the garage?
I have my daily drivers are 2017 EcoBoost, but I also own a 1966 GT that my grandfather bought new in 1966.
Wow, that's
which
nice.
was a car that told me there was something cool about Mustangs.
Well, yeah, cool, unique, and now 60 years of history. So tell me about what exactly was it that got you onto these 60 stories? Was it individual people that came to you and said, I got a story about my Mustang, or the research, or how did you manage to get 60 stories for 60 years?
Well, it was easy. I had to par them down. I probably had several hundred stories that I would have liked to have told. But I picked the ones that I thought were significant to Mustang history. For example, the book leads off with a story about a Ford designer, Gail Halderman, who was asked, he was working on the 65 Galaxy at the time, and he was asked by his boss to come up with a sketch or sketches for a Ford sporty car overnight. So he had to wait till he got home and drew these sketches, and one of them was chosen the next day to be shown to Lee Iacocca, eventually went to Clay, and eventually became the 65 Mustang, almost identical to his drawing.
When you say 65 Mustang, I assume that you're talking about the 64 and a half that debuted at the World's Fair in New York.
Yeah, it was really a 65. That was a brilliant decision by Lee Iacocca and his team of executives. They're all 65s. They all have VINs that start with 5. But they came out with the Mustang like six months earlier. They wanted to debut it at the 1964 World's Fair.
Right.
It also, instead of being a new car with all the other new cars in the fall, the Mustang came out all by itself in April '64.
We had the gentleman that had the prototype.
The display car.
The display car
for the
World's Fair.
For the World's Fair. Yeah, we had him on the air a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, actually, he displayed right across from us at one of the events that we typically go to.
Right, Keels and Wheels, was it?
Autorama.
It was Autorama. And he was right across the way, so we had a chance to talk to him about how nothing matched up. They had to extend the doors. That there were a lot of things on this particular car that were unique to this car just to get it in the show there at the World's Fair, because they weren't ready to do it.
Right.
They were very early production cars. I think out of the first 16 Mustangs built, 12 of them were for the World's Fair.
Yes, and he has one of them. And the story that he tells is quite interesting because, I mean, let's face it. I mean, we're talking about a modern day, so to speak, icon in the automotive industry that everybody knows about the Ford Mustang.
And everybody has a Mustang story.
Yeah.
You know, I can't. Anytime I meet somebody, like on an airplane or at a restaurant, and we get to talking about what I do, and I write about Mustangs. Oh, well, my father had one, or my sister had one, or I had one. I drove in high school, had a lot of good times in that car. So,
absolutely,
it's one of those kind of cars.
Yes, my brother had an early model, and it was the 6-cylinder. But I think that at the time, there were more 6-cylinders than there were V8s because they were more affordable. And he had it was a kind of a beige color, if I remember correctly, an off-white. And I think that it had a red interior. And did the car have a 3-speed on the column, or was it on the floor?
They were always on the floor.
Always on the floor.
High school.
To this day.
High school friend of mine, Todd Sheldon, still talk to him to this day. He owned a Mustang. We had good times in that in high school. Yeah.
I'll bet you
We did.
You crazy man.
I had 2 when I was much younger. 2 different times I had a Mustang.
That was a long time ago, Mike.
It was. It was a very long time ago.
When you say Mustang, it was the horse Mustang you were riding, right? Not the car.
I had one of those too when I was much younger.
Exactly.
But yeah, no.
How long did it take you to write this book?
Not long enough. It was the usual. Motor Books contacted me, and I had plenty of time. And then we had to go through the process of getting it licensed by Ford, and that took some time. And so it was probably 6 months or so.
But in the end, you didn't have very long when you got it.
Right. Yeah, by the time we got down to the licensing deal and it was a go, yeah.
Well, you could have started the book in that 6-month time frame getting the license, couldn't you? I mean, you could have done the preliminary work, and then when they said we got the license, boom, you could go.
I was doing it all in my head.
Oh.
I didn't want to put all that effort into something and then
them say no.
They say no, and
Yeah.
All that time wasted. What is your favorite part of the book? Obviously, you wrote it. You've got to have some special parts of the book that you really are proud of. Outside of the whole thing that you're proud of, but specifically these stories.
Yeah, I mean, it goes from 64 right on up to the new 24 GTD and how that car came about. But I guess probably my favorite, and a lot of people will recognize this car, was the 1968 Mustang Fastback that was used in the movie Bullet. I was somewhat involved with the car's later story because I was working at Mustang Monthly, and a friend of mine, Brad Bowling, who was a writer, had made contact with the owner, Bob Kernan. Everybody, or actually nobody, knew that the car still existed. One of the cars, there were two used in the movie, but nobody knew that they survived. And turns out Bob Kernan up in Pennsylvania had the car, and his wife drove it daily. She drove it to her job at school, and then the clutch went out, and he put it away. He put it aside to restore later, and it moved with him when he went to Tennessee or Kentucky, and just sat there. But he didn't want anybody to know he had it because he had actually been contacted to, I believe, to use the car in the movie, the remake of Charlie's Angels, the movie. And he didn't want anybody bothering him about it, so he just kept it secret. But he allowed Brad Bowling to write a story for me in Mustang Monthly saying that the car did exist, did survive, in survivor condition, and but didn't want anybody to know where it was or know his name. So that's where it stayed for years and years until Bob Kernan passed away and the car went to his son, Sean. And when Ford came out with the 2019 Bullet, that's when Sean decided to reveal it to the world at the debut of the 2019 Bullet. And just all he did was drive it on stage and then drive it off stage. And the world knew that the car
was
survived.
back.
Was
Yep.
that at the Detroit Auto Show?
I believe that's correct.
I saw that car at that show. I didn't get to see him drive it up and on, but I remember seeing that car. I mean, it was dirty, and it wasn't really dirty, but I mean, you could tell
Road
it had
grinding.
been.
On the road.
It had been,
Yeah,
it had
yeah.
been used.
It
What
had
happened?
potato-
Whatever happened to the other Bullet?
It was found in Mexico.
That's the one that I remember. That's the story that I remember because it was beat up, tore up. It wasn't. I mean, nobody would even think of having this car,
As the
and
Bullet,
anybody would want that car. I mean, it looked awful.
Yeah, it was a salvage car, and it ended up in the desert. And the owner was in the process of making it into an Eleanor-like car when he found out that it was the second car. It was the jump car, they called it, the one that was used for all the jumps and bangs in the cars on the streets of San Francisco. And I think the movie production company just sent it out for salvage, but it ended up surviving. My friend Kevin Marty, who you've probably heard of, I think Kevin might have been the one he has the Ford production database, and he might have been the one that documented the car. They actually had Kevin come down to see it, and Kevin said, yeah, there wasn't much left.
Well, it's funny. We did a car show that's local here. It's kind of like a Pebble Beach takeaway from Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
And it's called Keels and Wheels here. And we got to interview the guy that heads up a company that provides automobiles to the movie making industry.
Right.
And it's interesting that most of those cars, when done with the movie, they have no use for the car anymore. Usually they're tore up or they don't mean anything. There's nothing special about them.
Yep.
And he'll get that car and he will either market it and sell it or put it on a lot somewhere waiting for somebody to come along and either buy it at a well marked up price or just to flip it, just to turn it. And
Or sometimes they reuse it, like
Yep.
that 55 Chevy out of Tulane Blacktop he was talking about. It was going off to another one. And the Challenger, too.
yeah. So the movie cars they have an interesting story behind them as a rule. Some of them not so much. Others, the cars have been I think of the Dukes of Hazzard every time.
Yep.
All of those Challengers that they tore up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charger, Challenger, whatever it is. They tore up most of them.
Yes.
I mean, wrecked them badly. So the movie cars are always something.
That Eleanor, of course, which the movie came out in 2000, and with the 1967 fastback that made all 1967 fastback Mustangs worth more money.
Absolutely.
But, a lot of people don't realize that the original Gone in 60 Seconds movie came out in 1974 with a 73 Mustang, and it got bashed up, beat up pretty bad, and the H.B. Halecki was the guy who created that movie, and he unfortunately died in an accident on set a few years later. But his wife, Denise Halecki, still owns that car, the 1973 Eleanor that was, at the time, had the most cars destroyed in a movie, in a chase scene.
I'm going to have to find that. I didn't realize Gone in 60 Seconds was a remake.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's great to talk to you. Where can we buy the book?
Of course, you can get it on Amazon. You can you'll be able to find it in bookstores, and I have signed copies available at my website www.donaldfarr.com.
Farr, Farr.
Correct.
Got it.
Perfect.
Because there are different ways to spell Farr, so I just wanted to make sure
Yes,
we had it
there is.
all correct. So where do you live? Where are we talking to you from?
I am in Lakeland, Florida.
Oh,
Nice.
you going to practice? Is that a cello behind you or a bass?
That's a stand-up bass.
Stand-up bass. Okay.
Very nice.
That's my little side hobby. It's playing bass guitar with bands.
Nice.
Good deal.
Donald, it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us today, and good luck on book sales this year.
you
Christmas
very
is
much.
right around the corner.
That's right.
That's
Great
what
Christmas
that
presents.
is.
That it is. All right. Thank you, my friend. Good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Yep.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the In Wheel Time app on your phone. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk and new daily podcasts available from your favorite podcast provider. We also video stream our weekly show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk show continues right after this quick break. We think. Free tacos again at the Tailpipes and Tacos pre-holiday cruise-in. It's been a while, but the popular Tailpipes and Tacos cruise-in returns to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, Saturday, November 16th. Bring a new unwrapped toy and get a free breakfast taco. Toys will be donated to Toys for Tots and Houston Children's Charity. Get to the best and one of the last cruise-ins of the year. Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. Cruise in, donate a new unwrapped toy, and grab a free Lupi Tortilla breakfast taco. Tailpipes and Tacos only happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 703 West Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of the Katy Freeway. It's the end of the year car show season, and what better way to celebrate than with a free taco and camaraderie at Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. The In Wheel Time Car Talk show will be there too. Bring a toy, get a free Lupi taco, and feel good about heading into the holiday season at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy. Is your car ready for that all-important holiday road trip? Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having another car social Saturday, December 7th, and you're invited. Bring your car, truck, or SUV and find out what it'll take to get that thing looking new again. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, camera installs, and wheel repair. The car social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Join the car social Saturday, December 7th, 9 to noon. Talk to other owners and see how good your car can look on the road trip to Aunt Mary's. She'll want that good-looking ride in her driveway, I promise. Put it on your calendar. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Holiday Car Social and Road Trip Get Ready. Saturday, December 7th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then. Welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, our live edition, Saturday mornings, 10 to noon. Yep. We've got some remotes coming up, and we usually like to stick around for an extra hour on those, so you get a little bonus, and so do we, because we like to talk to the guys that are showing their cars.
Oh, yeah.
Time now for the cruise-in and events calendars, and Jeffrey has that.
Now, we're going to go next Saturday. This is all after the Halloween festivals and hoopla and stuff. So next November 2nd, Saturday, you got the Radius Church Family Fest. It's a holiday market and car show.
Now, we're not going.
No, we're not going, but this is something that's a car. It's a car show. It's a cruise-in, but it's just like your weekly event. The Radius Church invites you to their Family Fest. It's Saturday, November 2nd from 9 to 4. It's at 1915 FM 1960 Bypass East in Humble. This event will feature holiday market items like holiday decor, teacher gifts, and things of that nature. It's a good, fun event. So that's from 9 to 4, November 2nd. Also, you got the 9th Annual Toys in the Hood Car Show Toy Drive. So that's at Bayou City. It's the GS Customs will host the 9th Annual Toys in the Hood Car Show. It's a toy drive on November 2nd, 24. It starts at 11 a.m. Aldine, 100% of the proceeds go to the purchasing Christmas gifts for the less fortunate. And again, this starts at 11 a.m. Sunday of that weekend, you got the Classic Car Cruise. Join the Classic Car Cruise on Sunday, November 3rd, for a drive through the National Forest. This event welcomes vehicles 25 years and older, includes classic muscle cars, hot rods, rat rods. Participants will meet at Rudy's in Tomball, located at 24503 Tomball Parkway at 8 a.m. They'll have a driver's meeting, and then you just take a route. They'll give you the route to go. For questions, you can go speedadvocates at gmail.com for any more information. It starts at 8 a.m. Now, so far as the festivals that we go to, whatever you want to call them, we've got the Hemi Hideout, November 9th, Michael. Coming up.
Again?
All right. And then you got the Houston Automotive Show, and that's going to be in January. What else you got, Don? Anything?
Well, I got some headlines.
There you go.
You want to do some headlines?
Let's do some.
Headlines are good.
Yeah.
Just make sure that we're not in them.
Actually, let me do the...
We are in them.
We are in
Yeah, I was going to say.
Let me do the recalls.
Okay.
Some interesting ones here. So recalls. Brake pedal failure in the Alfa Romeo Toenail and the Dodge Hornet. Yes, I did say that. I think they call it a tonale. But it's spelled Tonale.
We
so
got
that
it.
In my world, it's toenail. Anyway, there's that one. Hyundai Motor Company, North America, recalling 1,568 and a half hybrid electric compact crossovers due to a hydrogen gas leak that could increase the risk of fire if it's exposed to an ignition source. For instance, like your gas water heater in the garage. Psst, boom! There's that. The recall affects 2019 to 2024 Hyundai Nexo models, one of the first hydrogen-powered vehicles on the mass market. Hydrogen vehicles remain rare in the U.S. Only about 17,000 were on the roads by mid-22, according to data from Car and Driver. The Hyundai Nexo is equipped with a safety device that releases hydrogen gas if the fuel tank overheats. We live in Houston, Texas, and it overheats in Houston, Texas all the time.
It could be 110 in your garage.
Everybody will be going down the road releasing gas.
More of a different kind. The device contains a glass bulb designed to break at a certain temperature to vent the gas. However, small cracks in the bulb may increase it to break prematurely, releasing hydrogen gas during regular operation.
Premature release is always going to be a problem.
Something like a suppository.
Okay, wait just a minute. On that note, a loud wind-rushing noise and a white fog-like cloud near the rear of the vehicle are signs of the defect.
Did they write this about you?
Run, Forrest, run!
You turn around and go into the back seat. Is that the dog or is that the car?
We're going through Pasadena.
And in case you didn't realize it, the fuel gauge will drop rapidly and the malfunction indicator will light up. I had to read the story. It's just too unbelievably weird.
Well, you have those devices in your home for carbon monoxide. Do they have like a device in the car for hydrogen?
Hydrogen, I don't know. To fix the issue, Hyundai is replacing the original glass component with a metal version. That's going to fix it. Although owners can continue driving their vehicles, Hyundai recommends parking them outside and away from buildings until repairs are completed in the heat. Mm-hmm. Both dealers and owners will be notified by December the 10th. Your car is going to blow up if you don't get it in there. Who would buy?
Parked or driving? Well, they're still working out the details.
Hey, fill her up. With what? Hydrogen. Where do you go get, hey, let's go down to the hydrogen store and get some hydrogen. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, they have some places, I've read that they've got them. It's kind of like charging stations. You got to go find one of them. But nobody knows about that little glass thing. I mean, who in the world, you're dependent on a glass bulb. It's like being dependent on a light bulb. Going down the road at 80 miles an hour.
It's like breaking off that thermometer somewhere.
Exactly.
Mercury. But you go over a bump or maybe get in a small fender bender. Will it break?
And the glass cracks?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I've read a lot of stories, but that one just strikes me as very odd and funny.
Gaseous.
Okay. More recalls. Rearview mirror glass may detach on the Ram 1500 from 2020 to 2023. They need to get some different kind of glue. Turn signals may not be visible in the GMC Sierra EV for 2024, Mars. You just drove one of those. Roof rail airbag inflator end cap may detach on the Chevy Silverado and Sierra pickup trucks, 2018 to 2019 models. Blank instrument panel screen, the Kia EV, 9, 2024 to 2025. Honda.
Yeah.
Honda recalling 720,810.1 vehicles in the U.S. because of a faulty high-pressure fuel pump that can leak, increasing the risk of fire, crash, or injury if it happens near an ignition source. Here we go again. Yep. How many people have gas water heaters in their garages? Hey, Maud, don't turn on the hot water because the dang water heater may blow up in the garage because my car's out there.
It's always Maud's fault.
The recall affects 23 to 24 Honda Accord hybrids, CR-V hybrids, and 2025 Civic and Civic hybrids. The fuel pump made by Hitachi Astemo in Japan was improperly produced, leading to cracking that can cause the leaks. The problem is particularly prevalent in lower mileage vehicles, according to NHTSA. Telltale sign of the defect is a fuel odor wafting from the vehicle while driving or idling.
Here we go.
We hate that when it wafts.
Yeah.
I hate waffling, yeah.
Wafting is bad.
Oh, here's another one. BMW X3, interior rear cargo rail may detach in a crash, 2018 to 2022. And those, ladies and gentlemen, are your recalls of the week, with a little humor involved.
What you didn't read, there's nothing on a recall for Buick. Imagine that.
I know. If you're not aware of this, and I cannot imagine why you wouldn't be by now, Jeff bought himself a new Buick.
I did. Got rid of the SRX-V.
Yeah. The SRX-V. Yeah. So Jeff decided to make his SRX a little different.
We can talk about it.
So he was at the Cadillac store, and he went to the parts department and said, "You got one of them V
That's
emblems?"
not the full story.
Okay, go ahead.
The full story is I used to get it washed all the time. I used to visit with car dealerships, and I would get a car wash while I'm making my visit. Well, the car wash took off the 3.6.
Sorry.
The 3.6 emblem on the back. Well, they're responsible for it. We don't have one. It's going to take weeks to get it. I'm not going to be back here in weeks. Well, we have a V. Put the V on there. So they gave me the V, and I put it on.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't really do it that way.
No,
he wanted to lie to everybody and have them think that
the
he
lie
had
kind of built after that.
A V motor.
It built after that. And that's why I got like $80 billion when I traded in, because they saw the V emblem.
It's one of a kind.
That is a V.
Model.
Didn't say the car was a V, but that is a V.
I can see that sitting on Sid's used car lot. Hey, man, it's got a V.
On
V
the back,
engine
it does.
in it.
That a V.
Yeah.
But the Buick is gorgeous. I recommend going and buying one. I do.
Where'd you buy yours from?
I got it from Sterling McCall on 59 up the freeway.
They
here.
treated you right, did they?
Treated me awesomely.
That's good.
Very, very cool.
There was another car dealership
that didn't do that very well.
They didn't do you right, and Jeff walked.
Yeah. Nanner, and as I'm walking, I'm showing him the car I'm going to go buy. Nanner. And I did, and then I called him back after I bought the car. I said, Nanner.
Look at what I did.
I was trying to facilitate purchase my sister-in-law. This is years ago, and she wanted this particular Oldsmobile. So we went to an Oldsmobile dealership. I think it was off the Katy Freeway. Don't ask me what the name of it was. I don't know, but this was a long time ago. Anyway, I said, so how much will you give me for that car, whatever it was that she was trading in? He would not give me a price. I said, you don't give me a price, I don't buy you buy a car here. Oh, but I said, no buts. This is my deal. This is my money. You're going to tell me how much you're going to give me for that car right there. Otherwise, we're not playing the game. Well, I can't do that. What do you mean you can't do that? You're a car dealer. So guess what? After 30 minutes of arguing and getting the sales manager involved, we walked.
Because they wouldn't give you a price.
Wouldn't give you a price for that car. Because
how are they going to sell it?
No, not the new car, her trade-in.
The trade-in, the value of the trade-in, what they were going to give you for it.
Correct.
Still, how could they, if that's part of the deal?
Because they wanted to jack up the price and get more money for the new car, and they were going to flip it around to make it all about the used car.
Numbers.
They might give you an extra $10,000 for your trade-in, but we're going to go up on $10,000 on the price of this one.
Yeah,
I was ticked. Yeah. Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Back after this. The holidays are upon us, and Pro-Am Auto Accessories is your local one-stop for the auto enthusiast on your gift list. Pro-Am Auto has been serving Houston since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am was one of the very first distributors in the U.S. for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbeau, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier shopping corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse and showroom with installation and service bays. Pro-Am reaches a worldwide audience through ProAmAuto.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. Holiday gift giving is alive and well at Pro-Am Auto. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The fabulous Hemi Hideout is having an open house, and you're invited. Mark your calendar for Saturday, November 9th, 10:30 to 12:30, and make a reservation today for a 2-hour opportunity to see an eye-popping tribute to American muscle cars, a collection of neon signs that'll dazzle, all in a venue like no other in the country. Entry to this rare Hemi Hideout open house is by reservation only, 713-825-2555. The $10 cash donation per person is matched and given to Brookshire Charities. See you November 9th at the Hemi Hideout, and Will Time will be there too. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.